All right, folks, we got breaking news in the SEC versus Ripple case. Judge Torres has denied the motion, citing it as procedurally improper, and basically sounds very frustrated that the SEC has wasted almost 5 years of her life dealing with this case, only to have them now want to settle up with Ripple.
Breaking news, Judge Torres rejects the SEC versus Ripple $50 million settlement, Johnny. And here we are in May of 2025 with more questions than answers about Ripple's business model in the future here inside the United States. Love to hear some of your thoughts, and then we'll continue.
It's unfreaking believable, Abs. Every time we just thought, the monkey was off their back. And every time you think he's off the back, they pull the little bastard back in, and now he's back on their back again. It's just very frustrating, Abs. I get it. The judge is frustrated, right? Let's think about this. She just spent, just as we all did, 5 years of her life going through a lawsuit where the SEC was saying these guys did something wrong. And then the SEC's come back and said, well, you know what? They really did do nothing wrong. We're going to settle and move on. She's like, no, not doing it. And that kind of sucks because, it's like, here's why I'm frustrated with the judge, Abs. I get why the judge is pissed, right? She's like, you just wasted 5 years of taxpayer dollars, my time in this case, and then you want to just throw this lawsuit out. But the judge should also be, kind of looking and go, yeah, but you had a different SEC in charge. You had an SEC, Abs, that didn't know what the hell they were doing. They were going all over the place. They allowed FTX to collapse and hurt investors. They just were really an irresponsible, completely horrible SEC, made bad decisions, right? And this SEC chair, different organizations trying to come in and say, hey, we want to clean this up. We want to fix this. And the judge literally just said, no, I'm not letting you clean it up. And that's a little frustrating to me, Abs. But, we talked to Freddie, one of our guests of the show here, to get a little more understanding of what's happening here. And what he said was basically she's forcing them to go through a separate or different procedural approach to kind of bring this thing to a conclusion. Now, people are going to wonder, what does this mean? So let me hop in real quick to Abs. Actually, I don't want to do all the talking. So if you want to comment, if not, I can kind of tell people what this means for them.
So a couple of big details here, guys. So despite the agreement between Ripple and the SEC to cut the fine from $125 to $50 million and end the injunction here inside the United States, the judge has denied the request, citing a wrong legal ruling. The courts need, quote unquote, an exceptional circumstance to undo a previous ruling, which was not argued here by Ripple. Ripple's options going forward: refile correctly, modify the fine only, or appeal and risk it all. The $125 million fine and the injunction remain for now after this Judge Torres ruling. But the real question is, will this case ever end, Johnny Krypto? So one's in the chat if you think this thing is over here in 2025. Two's in chat if you think this takes longer than this calendar year. But back to you.
Unbelievable. That's a great question, Abs. When will this freaking thing finally end? Here's one good news if you're looking for a silver lining. I looked at the price reaction today of XRP, and you will note that for the most part, it didn't take a big beating on this. So the market at least isn't looking at as too detrimental. You could kind of look at it like, oh my God, if this thing stays, maybe if the monkey still kind of remains on the back, if we don't remove this injunction, that some institutions may stay away from Ripple. And so you would expect that would have tanked the price. And the fact that we didn't get a major tanking kind of makes me feel a little bit good there that either institutions aren't that worried, because remember, Abs, Ripple has now found a new way, of what they believe is a legal way, to sell XRP to institutions without doing it in the way that caused this injunction in the first place.
And remember this, Johnny, what did Brad Garlinghouse tell us? In the first 6 weeks after Donald Trump was elected, they signed more deals inside the United States than the previous 6 months combined. What does that tell me? This Judge Torres ruling, it's fine for now, but the moment that regulation is passed here inside the United States, the Judge Torres ruling is not precedent anymore, guys. So if you're enjoying this content, be sure to smash that like button. Johnny Krypto, any closing remarks for today?
Yeah, I think, Abs, you just nailed it on the head. At the end of the day, we asked the question, when will this case end? I'll tell you when it's going to end. When Congress does their damn job, Abs. That's the bottom. You have to freaking monkey and take the monkey off their back. Get the damn monkey off his back. Congress has to come out, pass some goddamn regulation. This is what digital securities. This is how you sell it. This is what it is. Blah, 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 blah. Pass the freaking laws. And then you're absolutely right. Doesn't matter what this court ruling is, because it goes away. Because remember, if Congress comes out and passes law, then going forward, institutions and companies just have to follow the law. So that's how we really bring this thing to an end. getting very, very tired of this thing dragging on forever. But hopefully, Abs, there's some light at the end of the tunnel because Trump said he wants a stablecoin bill on his desk in 90 days or less. And I think once that comes, and the infrastructure bill will follow, and that should have clarity around this stuff.
Well, Johnny, you make a great point. Regardless, we still have XRP being one of the most profitable crypto projects over the last 8 months since Donald Trump's election. And the most important thing to note, we have so many positive catalysts in front of us. Stablecoins, ETFs, regulation, and much more is on the horizon. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, and we'll see you all in the next one.